Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another JNN video. I'm Nick, and I'm joined by my friend.
Jacob, and today we're going to talk about the 2025 trade deadline. Haven't really had a big, massive one since 2021. Hopefully, we can get some big trades. Already have been some trades, including some massive ones, including Rafael Devers being dealt to San Francisco from Boston. The Yankees got their third baseman from Colorado and Ryan McMahon for some pitching prospects. Mariners got some offensive help in Josh Hader for some pitching prospects. Royals got Randall Grichuk, who already has a homer for them, for Andrew Hoffman, a right-handed pitcher. Sir Anthony Dominguez switched teams in the middle of a doubleheader yesterday from Baltimore to Toronto. Gregory Soto became the second Soto in a certain Queens Stadium for some pitching prospects. Chris Paddock and Randy Dobnak went from the Twins to the Tigers for a catching prospect. Yankees also got Ahmed Rosario for Clayton Beeter and an outfielder prospect. Austin Slater today also got sent to New York for Gage Zeal, a 2024 fourth round pick, and the Royals also got contact man Adam Frazier for a shortstop prospect. There are also a bit of some minor trades. Andrew Chafin and Luis Garcia got dealt to LA today. The Angels, of course. Danny Jansen got sent to the Brewers. He's a catcher. Eric Fede was designated for assignment by his old team. Now he's a Brave. Brian Baker was sent to the Rays. Nick Fortes was sent to the Rays, the new catcher for them. Dane Dunning was sent to the Braves. They also got Tyler Kinley this morning, and then the Braves also got Carlos Carrasco, so they've been doing a lot. But that's just what happened. There's still possibly a bit over 24 hours left in the deadline. There may be some more. We're going to look at Passan's top 50 list, but we're going to go to the top 25 and tell our thoughts. I'm going to send it over to Nick.
Alright, yeah, so as you guys can see on your screen, I do have the article pulled up by Jeff Passan. And we're going to start off here with Eugenio Suarez. He's been the big talk of the deadline, probably the best player that's probably going to be dealt. Jeff Passan has his chance of trade at 90%. I think it is very likely he's going to get traded. The Diamondbacks have already traded Josh Naylor, so they're clearly in sell mode. We saw that the Yankees were linked to him a lot, but obviously the Yankees got their third baseman in Ryan McMahon. And if you look down at the bottom of the screen here, we have best fits. We got the Cubs, Mariners, Brewers, Reds, Philadelphia Phillies. And I mean, all these teams could use a third baseman. I think that the teams in play right now are going to be more so the Mariners, Reds, and Tigers, which are not listed. The Tigers have been doing really bad lately. They're in a skid, and I think that he's ultimately going to get dealt to the Tigers. They just need something to bolt their offense to get this team back rolling.
Yeah, especially since this is a bit of an older article by Passan. Recently, I do believe the Cubs and Tigers, along with the Mariners, are the top teams to get him. Phillies are still in the hunt, but it's expected he'll get a lot of prospects in return. The Diamondbacks aren't necessarily rebuilding; they're more retooling for next year, so we'll probably get some more MLB ready prospects. But from what we heard, they're trying to get a big haul for 2 months of Suarez. But he has hit a lot of homers, so moving on to Joe Ryan. Passan has this as a 10%, which it could happen, it could not. If I were the Twins, I'd keep Ryan. He's a nice ace type pitcher that they have for like 2 or 3 more years. The best fits are Boston, Chicago, Cubs, not White Sox, Blue Jays, Yankees. I do see some teams like the Yankees, Mets, and Astros trying to get him. Baltimore may want him because Baltimore's been trying to find an ace for their retool. But overall, I do believe he might not get dealt and he'll stay a Twin after the deadline.
Yeah, I think it would be really smart for the Twins just to keep him. But as a Yankee fan, I'd love to see him on my team. And I think this is also a very like Astros like move where they get a big pitcher just an hour or two before the deadline. But we'll see. Moving on to Mackenzie Gore. This one surprised me a little bit when I heard that the Nationals might be shopping him around. Obviously, a big part of that Soto trade just a few years ago. And it seems like the Nationals are just going to continue their rebuild, retooling, whatever they want to call it. And yeah, he's having a really good year. He was an all-star. His strikeout rates are through the roof. And as you can see, the best fits, you have a lot of teams here. You got the Red Sox, Cubs, Blue Jays, Yankees, Baltimore, Houston Astros, New York Mets. You're going to see a lot of those teams in this video. And all these teams could use them. You always use an ace pitcher who's 26 years old and has the future ahead of him. Do I think he's going to get traded? I don't think it'll be wise for the Nationals to trade him. You'd have to give up a lot for him. What do you think, Jacob?
I do feel like they're just trying to see the market for him to see like if teams are willing to overpay. I do think overall they'll keep him for the future. They like Mackenzie Gore. He's been all-star level for them and he's pitched very well of late. Also, a big part of their Soto returns, so they want to see more of a return on their investment for trading away Soto. And I do believe unless a team wows them, like if the Dodgers or the Yankees or Baltimore send over like a big deal that they can't refuse, I do believe he'll just stay in DC for the foreseeable future. And then there's Dylan Cease, the Padres guy. Padres aren't necessarily looking for prospects, but Preller is always on the haul, looking for a haul, and like he loves to trade, especially if you look at their history of trades. They trade often, and they have been looking for catching help and left field help. So they have been shown to be willing to trade Cease, and they may do it if they can get that in return. They want MLB level talent. They want somebody to help them now as they're competing, but he's not doing it as good as he has in the past. He's been a bit slow. His walks are still up as they are, but overall his stats are going up. His ERA's in the fours. He's still throwing hard, and they could be fixed, or he'll still be elite if you can get him. It's just, are you willing to have the risk of him continuing to be a risky guy? I do not believe he'll get dealt. I do think the Padres will try to deal him. I just don't think any of the teams will be willing to give up what they want. Like the Yankees probably won't want Cease, and they'd probably want someone like Ben Rice from the Yankees or Trent Grisham, which Trent Grisham's also a rental, so he won't be as high as price as they thought. The Mets, maybe if the Mets don't really like Francisco Alvarez anymore due to his struggles, they could trade him, but I very much doubt it. The Cubs, I don't see anybody they'd be willing to trade. Boston might be able to just get rid of Connor Wong, but I don't think that'd be somebody San Diego wants. But they also have Jarren Duran, so maybe a Dylan Cease, Jarren Duran type of deal could be something. Otherwise, I do not think Cease gets dealt. What do you think, Nick?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. It's kind of odd because he's a player that his expected stats are actually a lot better than his actual stats. But for a rental, it comes down to the fact that Cease just isn't performing right now, and are his stats going to even out in the 2 months left in the season? I don't think that's something a lot of teams want to take a chance on for the price that the Padres are going to be asking. I think for the Padres, ultimately just keep him, and I mean you're in a playoff push right now. You might as well just run with them. All right, so let's move on to Stephen Kwan. The Guardians are looking to sell. They're having kind of an odd year. I think they have a losing record right now, if I'm not mistaken. And Kwan definitely seems the guy to be traded. Um, you're looking at teams like the Phillies, the Mets, the Reds, the Blue Jays, Padres, the Dodgers. I'm looking at probably the Dodgers and Padres are going to pick him up. If the Padres do get him, that'll be very interesting because you're going to have Luis Arias and Stephen Kwan in the same lineup. That's going to be devastating for pitchers. I don't really know what a return for him would look like. He's a interesting player, doesn't strike out a lot, but he's good defensively. He's fast, hitting like 260, 280, somewhere in that range with a couple home runs. So, yeah, we'll see. What do you think, Jacob?
I feel like it's more between the Phillies and San Diego. The Phillies have been trying to get outfield help with their struggles. Like, you can't really have Rojas out there for a playoff team. Brandon Marsh hasn't been what he once was. Somebody like Kwan could be a big difference. Better fielder, like better than Schwarber and Castellanos, obviously. San Diego's also been desperate for left field help. They've had just like Lockridge, people like that. They had Jason Hayward out there until they DFA'd him for a while. And I do believe he could get a decent return. Doesn't really help, but the Guardians are in sell mode. They are indeed one game below 500 at the moment, so they will be selling. They are still second division because it's very weak, and the team behind them and the Royals seem to be buying. But it'd be interesting because they do know in the future they'll have to pay Quan. They don't like paying people. Like the only person they've ever paid was Ramirez, who took a big discount. And it's also known that they will trade Shane Bieber soon, as they don't want to pay him either. And there's also the interesting thing, they were gonna possibly trade Class A, but they can't anymore due to certain situations going on, trying to get that DraftKings type of deal. But I do think Quan could be a big guy. And speaking of outfielders on the trade market, Boston Red Sox Jarren Duran. Overall, I do think they may keep him, but there is a slight chance they do trade him. Kansas City always needs outfield help. They need outfield help badly. They need a better offense. Passan also has Atlanta on the list. I do not think Atlanta will get him. Same with Cleveland because Cleveland's been struggling. Philly could be interesting. San Francisco with their big center field, Jarren Duran would probably have a field day out there. I do think they would be a good option, especially if they are able to acquire him. And they have linked up before on the Devers trade. San Diego has been in love with Durant since day one. San Fran, San Diego, all of them want him. Same with Philly. I do not think he'll get dealt, but if he is gets dealt, it will be between the Padres, Giants, Royals, and Phillies. And then let's go on to one of the bigger relievers on the market.
All right, so we got Joanne Duran here. Passan has his chance of trade at 30%. As of today, it looks like he is definitely going to be traded. And I mean, you have the best fits here. All the teams per usual. Honestly, every team in baseball can use him. He's an absolutely devastating reliever. The Yankees have been linked to him. The Cubs have been linked to him. The Mets have been linked to him. The Blue Jays. I think he's definitely going to be traded. I would love to see him on the Yankees. He chucks really hard, 100 miles per hour with a devastatingly fast changeup as well. Nothing really much to say about him. What about you, Jacob?
Yeah, it looks like the Dodgers have been trying to get him badly. Texas could always use pitching, but their offense has been struggling this year. Detroit could use them to help bolster them. The Cubs need them. The Yankees need them. The Mets need them. Every team needs them. I do believe a team like the Yankees, Dodgers could probably do better at affording him with his price, as they might want and will be tight talent in return. But the Twins have been known that they will be selling with all like contract type guys, Bader, and there's another twin like a few numbers down the list. And even Joe Ryan beforehand, the Twins will be trying to trade him. Duran is one of the best closers in the sport. It's just the Dodgers have Tanner Scott at being paid a lot to be their closer. Will they move Scott to like a setup man? And will the Yankees like make him a setup man, or will make him the closer with Williams and Weaver also in the mix? It's just a matter of what teams will want him to be, because the Mets also got Edwin Diaz. The Cubs have Palencia and a bunch of guys as their closer. Detroit, their closer situation might be a bit different. Same with Texas. Philly, get rid of Romano. Maybe keep Strom and Alvarado. Well, Alvarado's been suspended, so they definitely need another thing. Strom's been their more like closer guy. Maybe keep him as a setup man now and put Duran there. It could just be a big trade that could happen. Get a lot of prospect return. It has been shown that the Twins really do want to trade him. They get a big return. It just will teams be willing to pay it. Speaking of relievers, Cade Smith, one of the only relievers left in Cleveland after all those things. Luis Ortiz gone, Clase gone. Smith has been, well, is their closer right now, and he's been dominant. Was a great rookie last year. There are a lot of teams that Passan has his best fixed. Same as the Duran, basically, because everybody needs a good reliever, apparently. 4 years of control will have a massive price. I do not think the Guardians will trade him, mostly due to the situation. And I do believe that unless it's confirmed that Smith was not involved in the gambling, it will be a precaution for teams to go after him, and they'd probably rather wait for it all to be over and go after him in the off season. Same with Clase if Clase is found not guilty. But overall, would be great. Philly could use him. The Yankees, Mets, Cubs, Tigers, and Rangers could use him. Dodgers always love having more stuff. Great guy, was nice in the playoffs last year. A bit worse than last year, but he's still elite. 13 strikeouts per 9 plus, and it's going to be a great guy, but he'll probably be one of the more expensive relievers on the line. What are your thoughts, Nick?
Yeah, dude's an absolute dog. He's got 65 strikeouts and 45 innings, pitching to a 3.2 ERA. I don't think it's wise for the Guardians to move him at this point, especially with everything that's happened to their bullpen. But like you were saying, like we've been saying, every team in baseball could use a great reliever like him, and he'll definitely cost a lot. So I don't know if teams are going to be willing to give up that price tag for him right now. Moving on, we got another reliever, this one from the Minnesota Twins. We got Griffin Jax. He's pitching to a 3.92 ERA, and his strikeout rate is insane. I think he's definitely going to get traded. Who knows? You might see him bundled up with Joan Duran in a trade, or another player like Harrison Bader to a team. And I mean, it's just another thing where like every team needs a reliever. We can't really like pinpoint it like this team is going to get him. What do you think, Jacob?
I do believe he will be packaged. I do believe he will be great, especially with his fit stats, his xFIP as well as swing and miss. But I do have to break some news. Ke'Bryan Hayes has been traded to the Reds from the Pirates right now. So the trade deadline is slowly moving along as the Reds get one of the best defensive third basemen in baseball, also one of the best worst hitting ones. So a nice little thing there for the Reds. What are your
What are,
thoughts on the Pirates Reds deal?
Yeah, that's actually really interesting. I wonder if that takes the Reds out of the Eugenio Suarez sweepstakes. Depending on the
They
hole.
probably the price. They were probably looking at the prices for it, so probably better go Hayes, get some
Yeah,
closers. They do
yeah,
need
I
some
agree.
offense though, so they might go for somebody else. Hell, maybe they have a decent amount of outfield, but Duran could be nice, get some offensive help. So hey, might as well go back to number 10 on the list. Merrill Kelly, the Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks been awful this year. Not really. They've been middle of the pack, but on the downside of the middle. They've been trying to sell off guys that may trade. They may do what the Yankees did back with Chapman the day, trade him and re-sign him in the offseason. Kelly been a lifelong Diamondback. He is on the older side, around 35, 36, but he is still good with stats wise and has been shown to pitch well in the playoffs. Toronto, Boston, Houston, the Cubs are the best fits. Other teams like the Yankees have been looking at him. He could be good for any team for like a 2 month rental. Do good in the playoffs. He's not a fast thrower, but he will get it done. His off speed's great. He has good location. He'll be an overall great guy. What are your thoughts, Mr. Nick?
Yeah, so like I've been saying before, this definitely seems like an Astros type of deal here where they acquire a pitcher before the deadline. I think he's probably the more realistic option that will be traded. The Diamondbacks are definitely shopping him, and his price will be not as steep as like a Cease. And other teams like the Cubs and Toronto definitely do need a starting pitcher, so there are definitely viable options here. And he's just really reliable. He's been a workhorse for the Diamondbacks this year and last year, and just will be super reliable for a team going into the playoffs. So moving on to another player here, another starting pitcher. As a matter of fact, we got Mitch Keller, and he's a really good player. He's young, I believe, and I do see a team maybe trading for him. His price is definitely gonna be a lot steeper than like a Merrill Kelly. I definitely do see the Cubs being the most aggressive for him, along with the Blue Jays. What about you, Jacob?
Deep price, but can get some swing and miss stuff. One of the first guys to be known for the sweeper. Has 3 years, 55 million basically, and the Pirates need bats. So if you have a bat, Keller will be the guy they trade to get one. But I do believe the Yankees have also been looking at him. Houston likes him. The Blue Jays like him. Boston will probably like him because Boston's been looking for a guy behind Crochet. Cubs need him because they lost Justin Steele earlier in the season and he's out for the year. And I do believe he matches up. We do have a bunch more starting pitchers coming up. 12, we got Edward Cabrera of the Marlins. He has been one of the best guys this year that have been better than years before. He has a nice mile per hour fastball that's good with a curveball and slider to go with it, and a nice changeup has been great for him in the past. He has 3 or more years of team control, so he'll be one of the more expensive guys in the market. He's 27. The Cubs, Red Sox, Mets have been looking at him. The Blue Jays, Houston's always looking at someone like that. The Dodgers and the Yankees as well. I do believe he may get moved, but I do believe number 13, who my friend Nick will talk to you about in a second, will be more likely to be dealt.
And that's his teammate Sandy Alcantara. I definitely think it's probably time to move on from him. He needs a change of scenery in Miami. And another thing too is, although he has a 6.66 ERA, which is I'm pretty sure the worst in baseball, his last two starts he's been absolutely devastating. He's looking to be back to his old Cy Young self. And yeah, he's coming off Tommy John surgery. I think he just needed to like reacclimate himself to throwing the baseball. And yet again, his expected numbers are a lot better than that 6.66 ERA. I think a lot of players will, or not a lot of players, a lot of teams will be looking to get him. I mean, he's linked to the Yankees, Mets, Cubs, Astros, Blue Jays, basically every contending team right now. His price is going to be very interesting because he was a very good pitcher and he's not doing as good right now. But I still think that you're going to have to give up a decent haul for him just because of the name Sandy Alcantara and what he could potentially offer to a contending team.
It does help Miami that his last two starts have been dominant. I believe he's gone 6 to 7 innings of shutout or close to shutout ball each of the last two starts, including one a day or two ago. And it's also been confirmed that Taylor Rogers, the relief pitcher, is one of the returns for the Pirates, along with the shortstop prospect, which is odd because the Pirates need hitting. They trade a hitter and they got a pitcher. But it is what it is as we move on to another struggling starting pitcher was a former ace, Zach Gallen. In his walk year, Zach Gallen is not doing too good with a ERA above 5 and above 6 and above 7 and above it. Not that high, but he's been struggling. He's been losing his location. His velocity's been Strike at the walk ratio is back to normal, but he's still struggling. And he has a 6.55 ERA recently. Ever since he had that dominant start against the Yankees early in the year, he's been awful. Struggling, posting career worst numbers, but it's going to be interesting if a team thinks they can fix him, or if a team just thinks that he'll round out to his former stats, like maybe he just has something wrong with his pitching, like maybe a pitch that he's not using as much, maybe if they just need to fix how he throws the ball, if he's throwing it wrong, if he's hurt. You just never know. I do believe he will get dealt for like the return, nobody knows. I do believe a team like Toronto, Houston, or the Cubs will take him. Maybe like pray that he can do good. I don't think the Padres will want him. I do not think so. But
Yeah.
overall, I do believe he will be a nice candidate to be dealt.
Yeah, I definitely think a team's just gonna have to work their magic on him, and I could also see him being dealt in like a package with Eugenio Suarez as kind of like a you're getting an established bat, and then almost like you're taking a flyer on a project pitcher that could be very good for a team down in the playoffs. Looking at number 15 now, we have one of the best designated hitters and first baseman in the league this year right now. We got Ryan O'Hearn. He crushes right-handed pitchers, and he also overall in the year has an OPS plus of 132. He's having an amazing year. I definitely do see him getting moved. He's probably going to be one of the better bats along with Eugenio Suarez that are going to be traded. For a team who's going to get him, Houston, Boston, San Francisco, Texas are the best fits that Jeff Passan has right now. I definitely do see a team like San Francisco that, oh well, San Francisco actually is selling right, might sell. This article is a little old. I can see the Houston Astros going to pick him up since their free agent acquisition and Christian Walker has been doing as good. What about you, Jacob?
I do think that if the Giants don't go on full sell, even though they've been on a free fall right now, O'Hearn could be a great guy because he can also play the outfield. He could also DH. He played first, split time there with Devers. Go to right field with Yastrzemski and there are other guys there. And I do believe he'd be able to hit well. With that big wall and right, he might be able to get some in the cove, but he might just get a lot of doubles. But I do think if anybody trades for him, it'll be Texas. I do think he gets dealt, and the Rangers would be a great team for him, great fit. They need offense. Jake Berger, their acquisition's been struggling. He hasn't really lived up to Nathaniel Lowe there, but I do believe O'Hearn will be a great power hitter for any team that goes, especially since he's a righty only guy and they can use like their other guys they like when they go against lefties. He has hit better against lefties this year than in years past, but his 132 OPS plus will be great for any team, especially a team like the Rangers. Number 16, speaking of the Pirates with Hazer, they got David Bednar, a guy who's been on the trade market for like what feels like forever. He was demoted earlier in the year to fix him because he was struggling a little bit hurt. Now that he came back and he was healthy, he's been great. In his past 23 outings, he's struck out 29 with a 0 ERA. He's been dominant. The 30-year-old's returned to his former self. Every team wants him. The Yankees have been linked heavily to him. Phillies will want him. The Mets, Cubs, Mariners even want him. Dodgers, Blue Jays, Tigers. I do believe he'll finally get dealt after years. I feel like the Pirates they gotta. He's 30 years old now, so they gotta like get a return while they can, especially when he was a lot more expensive in the past. He's cheaper now. His price tag's a lot lower than his peers, but he has a big amount of swing and miss stuff that'll be great. And I do believe he will get dealt, probably to a team like the Yankees, the Mariners, Cubs, Tigers even. What are your thoughts, Nick?
Yeah, as a Yankee fan, I'd really love to have him in the back end of my bullpen. I think the Phillies are another team to look out for because their bullpen has actually struggled a lot this year. They're kind of in a similar boat as the Yankees, where their bullpen is probably the biggest weakness of the team right now. But any team that's going to get David Bednar, you're getting a lockdown reliever, closer, who's an absolute dog. I mean, Jesus Christ, 23 outings, he's got a 0 ERA. That's insane. Okay, so moving on, we got Robert Suarez of the San Diego Padres. He's another interesting player because the Padres are kind of in this weird state where they're in a playoff push, yet they're willing to kind of sell on a couple players like Dylan Cease and Robert Suarez here. He's going to be a pretty steep price, probably more expensive than like a David Bednar. And we've seen teams like the Yankees, Blue Jays, Detroit, and Texas linked to him. The chance of him getting traded, Passan has at 50%. I don't know if he's going to get dealt. The Padres do have a lot of pitching depth in their bullpen right now, but I think ultimately it probably would be best for the Padres just to keep him. What about you, Jacob?
I do not think he'll get dealt because we're looking for a catcher left fielder type guy in return. I don't think any of the teams are willing to give that for Suarez, especially for a guy who's had some issues in the past as like a mid threes ERA for a closer. That's especially, but he does have an opt out, which you expect the thing. So he's also cheaper. I do not think they'll trade him. I don't think the Yankees will want him. The Tigers, Rangers, Blue Jays may want him, but overall, I don't think he'll get traded. Speaking of guys, I do think will get traded. Ryan Helsley, really pitcher closer from the Cardinals. It's been great. Was a great guy last year. He's in a contract year. He's been worse this year, but I do believe teams can fit some. His stuff and locations are pretty similar, but his fastball's been getting hit hard. And I do believe if he fixes the home run rate, so if the team can figure out his fastball, he will be dominant again. And I do believe the Dodgers, Yankees, Phillies will be teams that go after him. I do see him being a Dodger to be honest. Blue Jays, Mets, maybe Mariners and Tigers, a little bit in the middle. But overall, I do believe Helsley will get dealt. What about you, Nick?
Yeah, if the Dodgers get him, that'll be very scary because he throws absolute Chad, and it'll be a similar situation last year to when the Dodgers got Michael Kopech, and he's been absolutely dominant for them when he's been healthy. So we'll see what happens. I definitely do think he'll probably get traded here, and he'll be good down the stretch for any team. All right, so number 19 on the list, we got Peter Fairbanks of the Tampa Bay Rays. Um, yeah, we got a lot of pitchers on this list, and he's one of them right here. Best fits, we got the Dodgers, Phillies, Detroit, Toronto, Texas. I definitely do think he is another player who might fit well in the Dodgers here. And he throws pretty hard, 97.3 mile per hour fastball, and he does have a club option for 2026, and that is going to cost $10 million. He's kind of an odd player. I don't know what the return exactly would look for him. It might be a little in that mid range. What do you think, Jacob?
I think it's like 50% chance he gets dealt, a little bit close to what Passan thinks. He has been good this year, but he's also been shown to have his bad days. But I do believe a team like the Phillies could use him. I do believe it'll be a Phillies type of guy to get. So if he was dealt, I'd say they'd get him, but I cannot think of what a package would be. Maybe like mid top 30s prospect, maybe like a 14-17 combination. It just depends on what team finds
Yeah,
agreeable or like good for him.
he's an interesting player.
Yeah. And then 20, Shane Bieber, the Guardians. The Guardians basically said they will trade him and Quan, or they will try to trade him and Quan before the 6 p.m. Eastern deadline tomorrow. He's coming back from Tommy John. His fastball's up to 94. His slider's looking like his old self. He's getting a lot of interest. But I do believe teams will be cautious of the risk. He will be, I believe he's entering free agency after the year, so he will be a rental, a little bit cheaper due to coming off Tommy John. Seems like a guy the Cubs will get, to be honest. Cubs, maybe even the Blue Jays. San Diego and the Yankees and Boston are on the list of Passan, but I believe they'd want something different. Those guys, San Diego, and they might want him. The Cubs may will want him. It just depends of what they will trade from. I believe if anything, he'll become a Cub, maybe even a Met. But I do believe the Cubs are more likely, and I do believe he will get dealt because the Guardians have stated him and Quan they want to be traded by tomorrow. Just a matter of will they find something agreeable. What do you think, Nick?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of question marks regarding Shane Bieber and what a return could look like because he's been very dominant in the past. I mean, that 2020 season, he was absolutely insane, along with other seasons surrounding that year. But obviously, he's missed a lot of time with that Tommy John surgery. You don't know exactly what you're going to get from him. So I think that team is going to take a flyer on him. And like you were saying, I think the Cubs, this is a good, like, probably like a low risk, high reward deal where I don't know you're going to give up a lot for him. But if you get the old Shane Bieber, or at least somewhat similar to the old Shane Bieber, you're going to be getting a very good pitcher for your team. Moving on to number 21, we have Taylor Ward of the Los Angeles Angels. So the Los Angeles Angels actually today made a buying move. So I don't really know if Taylor Ward's going to get traded anymore because the Angels are for some reason buying, which they do every year. I think it would be wise to trade Taylor Ward, but the thing is that the Angels are pretty much the opposite of wise. They do everything that they probably shouldn't do. What about you, Jacob?
Yeah, I don't think he'll get that. It would be smart to trade him. Probably a very good amount. He has like a good amount of homers. I believe he did hit 25, 26 around now, with the outdated article from Basan. But the Angels are an odd, dumb team. They didn't trade Otani when they could. They bought that year and then they crumbled. They're known to buy at the deadline and crumble in August. They're below 500 right now. The Guardians have a better record and they're selling, but the Angels have bought. They bought two relievers today. I do hope, for the sake of Angels fans, they sell, but I really doubt it. 22, a guy with a lot of history, Luis Robert Jr. Team's been looking at for him for ages. I remember the White Sox trying to get a Soto type return for him, but he has been struggling. He has a pair of 20 million a year club options, so I do believe a team will be looking for him. Seems like a San Diego Phillies or Phillies like type guy. And that's as well. I do believe if anything, it'll be a Philly or a Met. The Padres might want him, but they're looking for a left fielder, and Roberts is a very good center fielder. And his bat has been struggling this year, but he still has the power. His speed's been magnificent. His fielding's been fine. I do believe a team will be able to get him for like a reasonable price. Not like reasonable. They'll still have to pay a good amount because of what he has his potential wise. But I do believe he will get dealt. The White Sox might finally deal him. They might hold him for the off season. I do believe he will be dealt by tomorrow. For White Sox sake, I hope he's dealt. I hope they get a decent haul. I do think he'll be a Philly or Met by the end of the week. I do believe Philly's more likely. What do you think, Nick?
Yeah, I think at this point he just needs a change of scenery out of Chicago. I mean, for a team that will trade for him, you just gotta hope his bat turns around. This year he's batting 206 with 11 home runs, a 643 OPS. So definitely not what you want to see bat wise. But at the very least, if you're a team that's getting him, you're gonna get a speedster, 26 stolen bases. He has outstanding defense. So yeah, I mean, hopefully a change of scenery just really works out for his bat. If not, you're just gonna be getting a very good, maybe very good speedster with great defense. Moving on to number 23, we have Ramon Laureano. He's having a baller season for the Baltimore Orioles. His chance of trade here is 70%. He's going to be one of the better bats that probably will be moved. He's had a really surprising year, actually, because his offense has been really good. In his last 100 at bats here, Passan has that he has 156 WRC plus and 924 OPS. I definitely see a team like the Toronto Blue Jays making a trade for him, as they could use maybe just another big bat in their lineup. Even the Philadelphia Phillies or Padres could definitely use him as well. What about you, Jacob?
I do feel like a team like the Blue Jays or Mariners will be going for him. He's been having a great year, unlike the time when he got busted for steroids like in 2021. It's been a not really a breakout guy. He didn't really have a breakout in 2019. He's just been more of like average solid. He was mostly known for his defense and his arm and also hitting lefties. I believe now he's hitting all around. On a hot streak, I feel like a team will take advantage of that, especially with a 156 WRC plus in his past 100 at bats with a 924 OPS. A team will want that. The Phillies, Blue Jays, Mariners are who I see grabbing him, and I do believe he'll be traded by the deadline tomorrow. Moving on to 24, a guy who was almost traded but denied it, Nolan Arenado. He's been having a very year. He's still above average defender. Strikeout rate's about his career best. His power and patience are both trending down to worse his career. If a team can get him to change, it'll be great. But he does have a full no trade clause. And funny enough, with that no trade clause, the Astros have again been trying to trade for him, even though in the all season he denied a trade to the Astros. Astros are still trying to get him now, thinking you got to change your mind, which I doubt. A team like the Tigers, the Brewers, Mariners, or what Passan says. I don't think the Brewers will go after him, especially after the guy Andrew Vaughn, King Vaughn, has been dominating for them. The Mariners and Detroit seem more likely. If Detroit misses out on Suarez, they may pivot to Arenado. If the Mariners lose out on Suarez, they might also pivot to Arenado. Mariners might also see this price from Suarez and see what they could do for Arenado. The only issue is Arenado's contract. Will they want to pay for it? And will Arenado waive his no trade contract? Overall, I do not really think Arenado will get dealt, especially with that no trade clause. He'll deny it. And you never really know. Cardinals are an odd team. You don't know what they're looking for in return. But overall, who knows? What do you think, Nick?
Yeah, I mean the 34-year-old right now is on a very steady decline. You're looking at a on-base percentage below 300 and an OPS plus of 86. At the very least, you're going to be getting a very good defender, a veteran presence in the clubhouse, but I don't know if getting Arenado is going to be worth the price. But also, who knows? Maybe a change of scenery for Arenado will help him out, turn that bat around. But we'll see. I don't think he's going to get dealt ultimately in the end. Moving on to the last player we'll discuss here, we have Marcell Ozuna of the Braves. Uh, his chance of trade is at 30%. A lot of teams could use him. He's having a very good season this year offensively. I think the Padres ultimately will get him if he is dealt. They could use a big bat in their lineup. The price may be a little steep for them. They're kind of a team that's selling and buying at the same time, but I don't know. He's going to be one of the bigger bats dealt. What do you think,
I do
Jacob?
believe he will get dealt. I do believe the chance to trade has gone up over the break. For like since Passan posted, I give it like a 75% now. And from what I've heard to others and what I agree with, Texas could use him. They need a big bat, possibly a DH bat who can hit homers, especially with his past performance. Ozuna from the Braves could be Ozuna from the Rangers or Ozuna from the Padres. But I do believe he'll be a Ranger with the other teams on the list besides the Giants. I don't think the Giants will go for him because they have Devers and others at DH there. Even though Devers has been playing first, I don't think they want to risk Ozuna being there too and having to force him to play the field, which has been horrendous in the past. I have heard of being linked to the Cardinals going back there, but I do not think that will happen either. Tigers in Seattle could be good fits because the Tigers could always use some home run help. Same with the Mariners; they always need offense. Padres are more looking for like a left fielder rather than a DH, so I don't think the Padres would go for him. Overall, I do feel like if anything, he'll be a Ranger by the end of the week. And I believe that is all. Hopefully, the trade deadline is one of the best in memory, especially since that's what something the fans would want, everybody would want. Hopefully, there's a lot more trades after this video comes out, and in between the time we record it and upload it. And if anything, there might be a YouTube short about the results of the deadline or what we missed, the players we missed. But overall, I hope it's a great deadline. I hope you guys are excited for it. And I'm Jacob, and I'm here with,
Nick?
and we hope you enjoy.
Yep, take it easy, guys.